Okay, I'm going to record it too. Uh, because usually if the apprenticeship is not formed, it's very hard to work towards that now, because at this age they are very good at avoiding and pushing back, and just they have, you have to deal with the screen. Typically it's the screen addiction and all this stuff. But the fact that you have explored uh, and really unlock his talents, his gifts, I think that is incredible. That's just beautiful. That's a really great journey, and I'm really glad that you're able to share that through his books and your social media, and that's just such a gift.
And I think it almost comes out of desperation to find something to do.
Yeah.
So we're younger on this journey, and the child's younger.
Yeah.
And my husband was working on the weekends, and me and him all day. Really not many friends, at all.
Yeah.
Well, socialize them. We didn't think.
Yeah.
And, it's just out of desperation of finding stuff to do.
Yes.
We would just go and do something to pass the time, and thank God he didn't like screens. Screens were not friends. And so we really had to find stuff to do, or we'd be
yeah. So that's, I think it's to get this far with Teo. I think that's incredible. You should be very proud of you and him, and also as a family, because it's not easy.
And if we can survive the next 2 years, then we're good.
You will. He's 16 now. 15. Oh my gosh, he's so tall.
Yes.
15.
He's 16 the end of October, so he's almost 16.
Yeah, so 16.
I just said that. Oh my God.
Yeah. And do you think that the anxiety is partly because of hormonal changes, like of being a teen, or he's always been anxious like this? More so since...
complete hormonal shift.
Okay.
He was mellow. He was just a mellow, go with the flow type of kid. He was never married to his PEC schedule or anything like that. We didn't do that for very long, thank God. We didn't have a PEC schedule.
Yeah.
Except when we had to, when he was little guy. But yeah, he was always flexible and easygoing, and I could take him anywhere, really.
Yeah. That's great.
Now it's different. And he started pretty early. He started really when he was 11, changing.
Oh, kids nowadays, they start at about that age. The puberty kicks in.
And then the 13 and a half is when it really...
It's tough.
Just out of nowhere. These challenges that we've heard about. I mean, this is why people send their kids to group homes.
Yeah.
This is why they send them away. And it's really, really rough when you're going through these rough spots like this. So, and that will never, that's not in our any stretch of the imagination for me, myself.
Yeah.
But, it's a little easier to comprehend why someone would rush to that. Especially if there's other children around.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Right.
And
before I forget, I think you should try to get funding from the regional center, because Jill is trying to do that. Her review is on the 12th. I'm writing a simple report in the regional center language that I could easily adapt a little bit for you guys. They are aware of RDI, and that they are aware there is one family who's getting funding.
Now she's at a different regional center though than we are.
Okay.
So she goes to the Contra Costa, and we're at Alameda. Okay.
So, is that something that you might pursue? Or I've worked with school districts too.
Yeah.
So, but Teo is homeschooled right now.
So we do we're covered with the school. We do independent study within the school district. So
I
they
see.
leave us alone for 3 years at a time. They
Okay.
give us money every quarter, and
Okay.
we're happy with the school thing.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't want to add something else on your plate. I'm just thinking.
No, but
that is
just
different.
covered from regional center. I called the school psychologist, and she said regional center won't cover things like this until the insurance company denies it, which is the new way to get these things covered. So the psychologist was going to put in a recommendation for RDI, and then we're going to send it through the channels for insurance to cover it. And then when we get that denial, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll get it since it's recommended by a psychologist.
Yeah. What insurance company do you have?
Kaiser.
Okay. Yeah, Kaiser will deny that. Kaiser is one insurance company. Yeah, but that's just for formality. I mean, you'll get the denial,
center,
and then you can go to the regional center. And usually, if one nearby regional center already funds, then I think you have a good case, because you do need parent training. And that's all I do. Parent training. I come to the home, and that's all I do. So maybe down the road.
And it's not considered educational, so they're not going to blame it on the school. It's not health wise, so they're not going to blame it on insurance.
It's not.
Have the denial anyway, and so we'll approach it from that angle.
Yeah. So that's the plan. I think one foundation that's missing, of course, is his ability to co-regulate with another person, with you guys. And unless he can co-regulate with you both, with his parents, then self-regulation will be very, very hard to achieve. So that's not even the skill. It's a missing foundation, So
co-regulate, meaning not have to control me?
Co-regulation is how two people make adjustments when they're interacting with each other. So you hear a lot about mutual engagements. You hear a lot about joint attention. When you think about conversations, that's a very complex level of co-regulation, where you're exchanging ideas, you're reading each other's mind, you're kind of getting a sense of each other's interests, and so on. So with neurotypical babies, they're very, very good at this already, because the wiring was right. So it was very easy. The moment you hold your baby, there is that fluid back and forth, and it's just, that's how the growth mindset kicks in at 6 months, right? So with neurotypical babies, they don't want to do the same stuff. Like if you were to make faces the same way or play peekaboo the same way, they're over it, and they start adding their own variations as well, right? Now, if you have an atypical development of the brain, that just didn't happen. You're always out of sync when you're together.
Okay, so what about in the case of regressive autism, like we have? Because we had all that as up until 17 months.
And then something happens. Yeah. I think it's the same, because this happens with, for example, children who are adopted. It happens with not just autism specific. Just something happened that disrupts the typical development of the brain that would normally, continue to grow when the baby or the toddler, the child, is with his or her parents. So, but the good news is with neuroplasticity, you can go back and redo that. Right. Yeah. So that's why RDI is a little bit different, because we don't just build skills. We actually do not focus on the problems, believe it or not, because we do believe unless that we improve the conditions of the brain, then, the behaviors will persist. Things that we see with our eyes, those are just signs of something is not right not going correctly underneath.
Yeah.
Right. So I think, but the great news is that you already have the trust with him. But because I think he is anxious, it's still hard to read him, especially because lately he's been aggressive. You do walk on tiptoes around him sometimes when you're reading that.
Yeah.
You know, your radar is up.
Yeah.
Right, when he's having one of those moments, one of those days, and that's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Right. So, but the good thing also with Teo, he can communicate. I know that independence in his communication, that's a very, very important goal. But I think he can tell you, he can do a review, he can tell stories and reflect. Can you do that with him? Like if say with his letterboard,
oh yeah,
let's say, right, he could go back and tell you the beginning part. Can he do that? Like, I was upset because blah blah blah, or
yeah. We usually don't talk about a meltdown the same day. We wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it has to be with the person he had the meltdown with. So
yes, absolutely.
I could be in the room and have Sarah hold the board and say,
yeah,
buddy, I want to talk about the meltdown you had yesterday. And because with this episodic memory, it happened with me and I'm there.
You have to be part of it.
If Sarah was alone in the room saying, tell me about what happened with mom yesterday, been working on episodic memory and being able to do that, but that's a skill. And so long answer is yes, you can do it with me holding the board or Sarah holding it with me present if it happened with me.
Okay. So do you keep those notes? Do you actually keep a journal?
Yeah.
With him?
Yeah.
You do? And you keep the journal under different titles?
It's just one journal a day. It's actually the sheets of paper. I put them in. I used to have a journal the whole first year and a half. In a journal, we would talk every single night because I was getting to know him, right?
Right.
So that's where most of the first book came from. My recollection of things was verbatim what happened, and the quotes are all exact because that's what happened. But so right now it's mostly written on paper.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at your interaction with him, and we're going to try to find a few things that I want you to keep in mind when you're interacting with him. So let me pull up your video here. Okay. Now I can screen share with you. Share. So if you were able to use the link that I sent you, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
It looks like this. So the video will play, and then at the points where I insert notes, it will pop up, and the notes will be on the side.
And I'm going to type notes on my phone, so I always have them. I am not
texting. Well, but remember, this is going to be recorded. So see, I can't listen and take notes. I just can't. So if I think if it's better for you to just listen and make comments and ask questions, you will have the recording. Okay. So let's so in general, the important points actually is not the doing part. So some keywords I want to give you is the thinking and not doing, focusing on the process instead of the task. So I think you do that pretty good. I think Mark's video was more of like task oriented. And the challenge is this. The challenge is because Theo is so competent. He is a good helper and he wants to help you. So if the activity is actually familiar and you've done it a million of times, it's really hard to slow down. If you don't slow down, it's very hard to slow him down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the important points when you do any activities is actually before you start. Before you touch all this stuff, I want you to take a moment to have a discussion with him. The previews, we call that preview.
Okay.
Right. So those are moments where I might tell him, oh, remember last time? So you can pull the episodic memory of like now, you're connecting now with before.
Okay.
Right. So let's say you were baking cookies before and it didn't turn out. You could talk about that. You can have your letterboard there or not. This is why if he can type by himself, eventually it would be so cool, right? Because it will just be, interactions would be, the flow would be better, right? But
it's just a long journey, so.
Yeah, he'll get there though. He'll get there. So take a moment to preview, and during the previews, if you have to kind of like set limit might be if you anticipate him like taking off, but he usually just might need a little sensory break and then he might come back to you, right? I mean, to me so far, I don't foresee him like leaving you or doing something naughty. No, not at all. He might do the looping at the beginning when he does his repetitions.
Yeah.
Because the beginning of the activity that's where his anxiety is the highest.
Okay.
So even more so, you want to slow down and take your time.
And then explaining at the beginning would maybe help lower that anxiety.
Exactly. So you might say, today we're going to experiment with new ingredients, for example, right? For example, you just give him a little preview. You don't have to spell everything out, because then if you spell everything out, then he just memorized everything and he doesn't really need you, actually. Right. But things that I might bring up, if the noise is too loud, let me know. But he's not bothered by the noise. The noise was from the blender.
Not if I count it down.
Oh.
If I don't count it and it's a shock, then that's when it gets it.
I see.
Then it's like a bolt of lightning.
Yeah.
That's why dogs are hard. That's why babies are hard.
Okay.
Ticking time bombs, right? And there's no regulation to when they're going
to. Yeah. As long as he can anticipate it.
Yeah.
Then he can prepare that. Okay. All right. So just take the time next time. So usually discussion points would be at the beginning and also in between the steps. So in this case, it would be, after you put the fruit in and then you have to put the next ingredients in. There's like a little step in between, right? So I call that small transitions. So those are good moments to actually slow down, and you can ponder about it. You can reflect. You can maybe think about what else we can put in there. Remember to use your open-ended questions. Okay. So that's different than close-ended questions. So with open-ended questions, you don't care what his answer is.
So with something like this smoothie example where it's a routine, right? He knows it, and he's just starting to add the ingredients on his own.
Yeah.
Do I stop him and say, hey, we're gonna try this a little different way today?
So give him the preview before, if you can. But if he already knows what to put in there, then just let him finish up. Right. And then you can add the challenge. Whenever you give him something to do differently, that's a challenge for him.
So you'll tell me how you would do this differently.
So this is why I spend so much time writing in the notes. That's okay. So let's play it.
We make our smoothie. Oh, nice. You got all that stuff.
I'll have to get more at the star. I'll have to get more at the star. Mom, we'll have to get more at the star.
So I don't know if you can see my notes to the right, or can you read it?
I love the way you actually handle.
Oh, there you go. I never know how much people can see.
Well, then,
okay.
I wonder if it can scroll down. Can it scroll down? Because then our faces get in. Oh, other way.
That's the top.
Okay, so I just can't see. You smiled at him. What?
It was cut off. So you smiled at him while looking at him, and you did not rush to respond in any way. Lovely. So I really like this face to face. I think, we communicate using our eye gaze so much, the exchange of emotions there. So I think that's the best way. It's not the repetitions. It's not that. It's actually what he's saying is that I feel a little uncertain at the start of this activity. And that's why he repeats. Okay. But the way you can provide reassurance is doing just what you were doing, because you didn't fall into responding to him the same way. So in general, we don't want parents to repeat themselves, because if the child repeats, then you repeat, then it's just a very unproductive cycle. Does that make sense? But you gave him assurance through your facial expressions, the way you look at him, the way you just taking a moment. That's really nice. So I think that's great. And I think he stopped after that.
We got some.
Good.
Yeah, we got plenty.
Yeah.
Good.
But when those are gone,
I love this part.
To the store to get more.
I have to get more.
We will. We'll have to get more.
I have to get more at the star.
Okie doke.
Yeah. And he stopped. He doesn't, once he knows, he just wants to know the context. You know what I mean? That's what he's saying to you. Like, what if, like, we use all of this, and then once he had the picture in his mind, then he didn't need to repeat anymore, which is great. Yeah. Because that was a solution, and you have practiced this.
So that's an interesting comment that he repeats himself because he's unsure.
Yes.
He's telling us he's unsure.
Right.
Sarah's here, so.
Oh, okay. I can't see Sarah, but because I'm sharing my screen, but can we continue, or do you want to wait until they're out of the room?
Nope, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So then here because it's familiar, he just immediately assumed his role. Yeah. So here's another keep in mind for you. In order for you guys to focus on the process, in order for the dance to happen between the two people, you have to have a job and he has to have a job.
Oh.
Right? So if you go back and watch your videos, at any point, no one should be just idling and not doing anything. Does that make sense? Right? Because then it becomes like, you do this for me.
Ah, okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. I'm so glad we record this. Because I won't remember. Yeah. Okay. So this is what he does. He knows what to do, and you both kind of knew what to do, which is why the beginning and in between is those are the opportunities to exchange ID, to think, basically. Okay.
Well, keep going.
Perfect. I love cherries in our. I've never eaten as many cherries in my life as I have since we started doing this smoothie thing.
Okay, so here's a moment where he kind of didn't have anything to do, right? And once in a while, that's okay. I don't know if he knew what you were putting in there. He probably did. But it's one thing I said here for familiar activities, I said, if he's very familiar with an activity, use your declaratives to spotlight interesting things. Share about your day, use I statements. So, have you ever, like at Thanksgiving, cook with family members, like with your mom? The cooking becomes the backdrop. You're all there. You're all doing your thing, but what stands out actually is the conversations. Yeah. Like you're telling stories. Exactly. That's what I want you to do more with, Theo. Okay. So usually, what we see a lot with parents of a child or family member who's not as verbal, you just don't have this kind of experience sharing communication because you just assume that they don't understand, and you were told don't say too much because they won't process it. Right. But actually, how is he going to learn that other people have different perspectives and different stories than him unless you start sharing some of that?
Well, yeah. So at the beginning, you were actually told to be a narrator, like
yes,
doing a radio show. And so we did a lot of that when he was young.
Right.
And then as we were doing more sunrise and stuff, it was don't talk so much.
Yes.
Because we want him to initiate some things. And if I'm talking all the time, then he's not going to interrupt me or have that opportunity.
Yes.
To do that. So then kind of back off.
Right.
And now that I understand he understands everything, then
yes.
Of course.
So yes, exactly. So you want to think about when you're conversing with your friend, it's very natural.
Yeah.
And it's full of breakdowns. But a lot of times you just share your experiences with the person, right? So take a moment to talk about why you like certain ingredients, or maybe the smell reminds you of something, so that's the declaratives.
Okay.
Right? You could do you remember, or I wish I have this instead. Now it is true that you don't want to talk so much, because then if it's too much, it gets overwhelming for Theo.
Yeah, it's white noise, at some point it becomes.
Yes, exactly. So this is why when you have a reference point like this with this oil, that, you talk about that, something related to that.
Okay.
And then you stop and let him process.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't have to be, like you with a bunch of other ladies in the kitchen. Then it's just like really rapid back and forth. That's just too much, But the goal is to really normalize your conversations with him. At least let him process like what you share in a much more typical way. Okay. So that's what I said. Okay. So then I just love watching his face. He's so comfortable. Like, he's so chill.
So we've added, what so far have you added in here? I can't see.
Mangoes.
The mangoes in here yet?
Yeah. Mangoes?
Where? Oh, there. Okay.
Did he add the mangoes, Annette? I can't see.
Now he's adding them. That yellow bag is the mangoes.
Okay. You didn't yet.
We had to get more at the store.
Okay. All right.
Oh, it's a flag.
All right, you ready? So we've got orange stuff, blue stuff, dark stuff. What else do we need? What color?
Yellow.
Yellow would be good. What else?
Green.
Okay, so here I talk about indirect influence. I said that I like how you name all the colors of the fruits instead of telling them exactly what he should get what he should get in there, because you didn't tell him, oh, go get this thing, right? That's called an indirect influence, where you want to put a spotlight, you want to put attention on the problem, but you don't want to give away the answer.
Okay.
That's called indirect influence. So you did well with that. However, you want to be careful with pointing, because pointing is a direct prompt.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes. So a lot of people think, well, I'm not telling the child the answer, but if you point to the answer, that's the same. So
Yeah.
you want to,
I
right?
think I rushed too soon because I said, what can we have that's green?
Exactly.
I was too quick to point.
Exactly. So be mindful of that. At the same way, a lot of people, like, they start using their eye gaze towards the right answer, the correct item. That's also a prompt. So you want to ask yourself, when you watch your videos, you want to ask yourself, okay, what was my intention? If my intention is to direct him to the correct answer, then that is still static communication. Okay? All right. So.
Oh, good. So I'm going to mix this so far. Ready? 1,
2, 3.
I said that this part you guys were using, you use your gestures, and the other channels of communication, you did that very, very well. I mean, that's natural because it's loud, so you have to resort to nonverbal communication channels. I think he understands these nonverbal communication channels. Do you see him using some gesture? Well, he definitely uses eye gaze. Very communicatively. I think he uses his facial expressions. Do you think he uses gestures much, like pointing or anything like that? Waving?
He does point, like when we're driving.
He does point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Waving, not so much.
Okay. He does use the spacing and the body orientation really, really well. So it's nice to see that he understands those channels when other people are using it. I think the more you use all channels of communication, the more he can understand them. I think for some people, they just cannot produce these gestural use, because it's just because of the motor planning. It's a lot hard. It's not natural for them, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if he actually nods his head or shakes his head, for example.
Not much.
Okay.
And he doesn't really point out in the world like, hey, look at that.
Okay, not for joint attention, right. So maybe down the road, if he's already pointing, that's huge, because with pointing, he can do a lot of joint attention. The rest of the gestures, I think it's more important that he understands them, because if he just looks up to people more, and understand that if I just look at people, then I actually understand more, right? Because we use the eye gaze, facial expressions, the way we use pauses, actually, that's part of communication.
Sure.
So as long as he understands those, I think it will help him reduce his anxiety as well. It's actually one of those topics that I would love to work on it directly with Teo. We do work on it directly with our students, to just have them work on it, pay attention, So eventually this is, what I wanted to talk to you and Mark, to just have him be involved as like the person we need to get his buy into when we work on an objective, right? So for example, this is an objective where, okay, well, do you understand how people use communication in different ways? And you might show him a little bit of this video and see if he can pinpoint how mom use different channels of communication. He may not know that, but I think he'll pick it up very, very quickly.
I think he'll probably know it, but maybe just not.
Yes,
know
exactly.
To notice it, you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. So, for example, one of the adults who I work with, he said that he actually practices in front of the mirror a lot, just to practice different kinds of facial expressions, because he knew that that was a huge part of understanding people's intentions, you know, and we work on that for a while, you know, and Teo can certainly do that, you know, once down the road, once he gets to know me, we can actually have a team meeting with him. And these video clips are great because I think we can spotlight these videos and show him, okay, what do you think about this part? What do you see? You know, and if he says, yeah, that I want to work on that, you know, that's huge when kids say, yeah, I see that. I want to work on that.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, absolutely. And then we can ask them, the next thing is, okay, what are some of the vehicles? How do you want to practice this? Right. And then they help you guys choose the activities. I think cooking is going to be a huge one because he loves to cook. Yeah, but you could use your play on the piano. That will be a huge one to practice coagulation, swimming in the pool. You already have a lot of opportunities throughout your day that you're going to use. You're just going to work on one particular objective.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's continue.
This is getting a little full. 1, 2, 3.
I am so impressed that he didn't mind the sound. That was loud for me.
Yeah. I know.
My son wouldn't be able to handle that.
Cilantro. Is there more?
There's more.
So there are a lot of there's some missed opportunities. So when you make decisions, Annette, because we've been practicing making decisions since we were very, very young, it's not at a conscious level. You know, you just assess, well, that looks like it's too thick or it needed more water.
Right.
And you just that process is automatic. You know what I mean? But in order for him to actually become a better thinker, we have to bring our subconscious process into a conscious level. And when I say talk out loud, you know, but I want you to use the declaratives, like the I, right? As you think out loud, basically you're thinking out loud.
Okay.
Then he will be able to borrow your perspectives.
Okay.
But the difference is you're not telling him what to do, right? So here's a moment where you could say, oh, that looks thick. Maybe that's too thick, and stop. And you look at him and see what he does.
Okay.
Okay, that's just, so if you're on automatic mode, right, then there will be a lot of missed opportunities.
Right. Okay.
Right? So think about it. And those kind of challenges are the ones that he really needs, because he needs to develop the competence that, okay, I can think about this.
Right.
I can problem solve this.
Right.
Right. In this particular activity, he was very, very regulated. So here's a chance for you to just challenge him. Ask open-ended questions, spotlight some problems like, oh, this is too thick, or it's too full, or the glass is too small, you know. So those are examples of how you can present a challenge for him and say, oh, and just see what he does.
Okay, so all right, so it's getting.
Okay. Are you okay? Hello? Annette? Hello? What happened? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
There was some commotion. I thought, oh my gosh, what happened?
Now I lost your screen.
Oh yeah, because I stopped to check on you because I just heard some commotion, like the laptop was dropped. So I was like, oh, what happened there?
No, I was just sitting here, and then I think you weren't able to hear me.
Yeah, there was a lot of static going on, so I thought we got disconnected or something.
No.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I was saying this is a time where I could say, oh wow, I think to me this looks like it's getting so full, and we haven't added the pineapple yet.
Yes.
Then I just wait. And then what if he doesn't?
Just wait. You just wait, and if he doesn't understand, then you want to elaborate your intention by using your gestures. Look, it's so full, you know. I need to give you, I uploaded my YouTube video clip of me and him working. There was the part where I was looking for a bowl, and I just used my gestures. I said, we need a vessel to put all this stuff in, you know, and he didn't quite understand. So I just used my gestures. He got it, you know. So instead of falling back into giving away the answer, you want to just elaborate by using your gestures more.
So how would you do this when it's too full?
Well, I would just use the gestures. If I put this in, everything's going to overflow. You know, so I think we have a problem. And see what he does. You could make it a little bit easier by, I don't know. So if you anticipate spill, you can, the paper towel is right there. That's an easy one. Right? I mean, whenever you're doing smoothies or cooking, you're always dripping. You know, so that's, you can spotlight that very easily. Like, oh no, you know, we made a mess, and just wait.
Okay.
You know, yeah. So let's, and if he doesn't understand, just point to the spill, you know, use the gesture for overflowing and see what he does. Okay.
I'll wait for you to get it.
Get it.
Great.
Try get in the earwax.
Some other green stuff should get while you're in there. Ah! I like lots of greens in mine. Feel like I'm drinking a salad.
Yeah, that's the small talk is good. That's exactly what I meant. You know, just keep up with the small talk. You want to share with him things about you, and Mark will do the same thing so that he can remember that people have different, you know, perspectives.
Wait, while you're there. Yeah, got it. What else can we get while we're in there?
We know her.
What do you think?
Okay, so here I said, because he needs processing time, give him time to do this and just observe from far away. He needs to learn to rely on himself more, and he can do it. Does that make sense? There is something about us moms being closer physically to our boys that I think they're not pushing themselves as hard when we're physically nearby. Like, that's certainly true with like me and my kid, but it's really hard to just observe from far away. But I think we need to just keep doing it. Does that make sense?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you see if it's recording for me?
Oh, you know what?
I stopped and started it, and since we separated, right? That one time. I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, it's recording.
It is? Okay.
It's recording. So I'm recording just in case, and you're recording too.
Okay, so when it says on the bottom, stop recording, that means it is recording, because I'd have to push that to stop.
Yeah, you can pause it. You can pause or stop and continue to record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had asked you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
About the smoothie and the overflowing part.
Yes.
If I said all that stuff, and I'm like, wow, we're gonna have a mess if this overflows, I think.
Yeah.
And then wait. And if he doesn't say anything or do anything,
you just keep trying. You just keep trying. It's a competence issue. It's not that he's not a good problem solver. I think you will learn that he's a great problem solver.
Oh no, yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
And I know he understands it. It's just putting all of it together.
Yeah.
And being so prompt dependent from our life, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but he could do already. He wants to do things for himself, but he enjoys being with you. Like with my son, he loves doing stuff with me, but we're at the point now we want him to do it independently. I have to make sure he's not behind me. He's not. And that's, they will push back at the beginning because they love doing it with us. Like, why not, but that transfer of responsibility has to happen. So in the coming future, we will have him make his own smoothies or take out the ingredients by himself.
Sure.
Yeah. And he can do it.
This morning or this afternoon, actually, I had to make these cookies, no bake cookies. And I just looked at the bag in the pantry and I'm like, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
I think we should make them. And
yeah.
I should have stopped at that looks good and see what he does. But I said, I think we should make them. And he got all smiley.
Exactly.
And then I said, well, why don't you make them while I finish making our lunch? He got out the.
See?
Yeah.
He could totally do that.
He mix it with his hands, which
yeah. I think cooking is great. I mean, he's a great eater. Cooking is where you can use your senses, you can compare and contrast, even takeout. That takeout activity was a great activity that you do it maybe once or twice a week. There are a lot of opportunities. But if you're rushing, if you're focusing on getting it, it's a lot of missed opportunities.
That's going to be really hard for my husband because that's what my biggest complaint to him is that he just wants to do it to get it done, not to enjoy the time with Matteo.
I think for dads, I think it's very hard for them to shift gear at the end of the day. Because when you do very well at work with your career, you're being paid to accomplish a lot of things, right? And then when you go home, you're asked to slow down and talk about the weather and things and that. It's just shifting gear completely. So I think Mark will have to figure out a way that he can do activities that he enjoys. It might not be the food thing because everybody's hungry and you just want to eat and get it over.
And he loves to cook, so.
There you go. Yeah, and Matteo is certainly interested into like getting involved. Like maybe they can like marinate stuff together. There's a lot of stuff they can do.
And plus this cooking merit badge for Scouts. It's huge. I mean, it's so long, and it's required for Eagle Scouts. So we're starting to work on that now.
Yeah,
it's not like this thick. So you got to talk about measurements, and you got to do all this stuff.
Is that Mark's thing, or your thing?
It's actually more Mark's than mine, but I just have more.
So let's use that. I mean, so the highlights from your part so far, that also translates to what Mark has to do, like slow down and use more open-ended questions. I did email you the materials.
Oh, good. Okay.
Right, I did.
Oh.
You did not get it?
Let me look.
On the declaratives.
Was that recently?
Yeah, let's see here.
Oh, look here real quick. Mark and Matteo. Oh, attached are some declaratives. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got it? Oh, here we go. So just print them out.
Great.
There is a presentation there on why it's important, the science behind it.
Okay.
And then he could just keep videotaping.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and it's really hard to shift from the task to the process. But there are certain keep in minds, like slowing down. And if we tell Mark, okay, Mark, no close-ended questions and no instructions. That's the rule. Mm-hmm. And you have the cheat sheet for the declaratives that you have print out. And the rule is like you could use your eye gaze and your gestures. But in general, if he just pause more, I think everything will slowly come together. Okay. If you just slow down. The beginning part is just slowing down the process for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So if we
it's directly linked to being task focused instead of process focused, because
yes,
to slow down is to enjoy the process or elongate the process or get more out of the process. Or
yes. And actually, it's hard during breakdowns when Teo's getting anxious. That's the hardest part. Yeah. But he is anxious because we go too fast.
That's huge.
Yes. So when you slow down, I think it's more actually just as much to your benefit as well as to his benefit.
I'm writing that one down right.
Okay.
Now. That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, and also he repeats because he's unsure.
He's unsure. And basically he's saying that, okay, you're going, this is a little too fast, and that's the standard go-to, because it would be great for him to be able to say, let's slow down. But you guys don't say that to him.
Right.
Let's slow down. So his go-to is his looping stuff.
Right.
Right. So if you're getting into the habit of just saying, let's slow down.
Yeah.
So for Mark to say, let's read the instructions. Let's just read these first two.
Okay.
And let's think about it. That's it. You just do it piece by piece.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah. So the declaratives and what I call repair language, it's something that you have to use a lot because he doesn't use that at all.
Okay.
Meaning that he doesn't say, let's slow down. I'm ready. Are you ready? These language that, when kids play together. Or when you go out for a walk with Mark and he's like walking a mile ahead of you, you use that, like, wait, I need to catch up. That's all of your repair language when you're trying to coordinate with another person, doing whatever. We're all really, really good at it. But the beginning part of that is when we were babies, when we play, peekaboo, which turns into hide and seek and all that. So that's in us very, very early on. And Matteo doesn't have that. He doesn't know how to communicate something when there is a breakdown.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, if you don't notice there is a breakdown, if you don't notice it because you're so focused on here doing this, right? Because you're fast and you don't look at him. Then you will miss the beginning of the breakdown. So a lot of the meltdowns are, just for him to just get over that. Like he's over that point of like, I can't handle it anymore. Mm-hmm. You didn't catch the beginning part, and he couldn't. The feeling for Theo is like, oh, I'm trying to catch up. That's how he feels. For people with autism, they're always trying to catch up with the world. Like, it's exhausting,
Yeah. Can I tell you what happened Sunday, just real briefly?
Yeah, of course.
I screwed up because I'm trying to figure out where this one came from.
Yeah.
We were driving to Sacramento to tour the Capitol for a scouting merit badge again.
Yeah.
And we pulled into a parking spot, and I had a big, one of those big heavy things of water, and we each had our own, and we was drinking it on the way up. And when we got there, I simply said, hey, if you don't want to carry your water bottle all through the Capitol on the tour, you can just leave it here.
Yeah.
Lost it completely. He jumped out of the car with the water bottle and ran around, and he just started getting all anxious. And I said, dude, you can bring it if you want. That's fine.
Yeah.
I was just suggesting if you don't want to carry it, you could leave it. That's an option.
Yeah.
But if you want to bring it, because it wasn't done yet. He wasn't done with it.
There's
still some in it. So it was an incomplete task in his mind. And it's 64 ounces. So, I mean, no, it's 30. How much are those big ones? 32 ounces. So that's a lot of water to drink. But he has to finish it at this point.
Okay.
So when I even suggested that he not bring it, he just went berserk. Yeah. And it was rough getting to the Capitol because he was screaming and crying and couldn't come back to it. And we're about to go in the echoey building with security, and and then he can't stop.
Yeah.
We were walking. I'm trying to walk as slow as possible because I know we can't go in the building like this.
Yeah.
And, but I mean.
Here's the thing. This is food for thought. He doesn't understand, like my son is also very literal. He doesn't understand that we are not mind readers. You know what I mean? A lot of times we just want them to be as comfortable as possible. Like we see problems like hundreds of miles ahead, and it's like, and that's not good. It's not good both ways, right? So this is why the process of sharing our likes and dislikes will slowly help him understand that, look, you are different than mom. You're different than dad. A lot of things are subjective, and cooking is great for that.
So if I would have said, you know what, I think I'm going to leave my water bottle here because I don't feel like carrying it.
Exactly.
And just left it, then he could have decided.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I just did a video for my Instagram. Well, I have 2 accounts, but I just did one on first 10 ideas to help with transitions. I think did you follow the ASD career pathways?
I think I did.
Okay. So, but follow the other one because that's more, I put some videos for tips just to build the foundations. There's one there.
That's Instagram, both of them?
Yeah. Yeah. I can send this one to you.
Instagram.
To Matteo. I'll send that particular video to you. So I basically said, don't focus on the problem, but you want to focus on doing transition together, like you and him. So you would say, I'm going to finish my water, and I think I'm going to be okay if I leave it in the car.
Okay.
Right? So to also communicate with him, that this is your action and you're going to feel a certain way. You might be worried about something, right? If you have food in the car, like, well, should I leave this in the car because I'm worried that it's going to get spoiled?
Right.
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 Right. So you do want to communicate thinking out loud and doing the best that you can. And I think once in a while you do want to fail, because here's the thing. I think he hates failing.
Yeah.
Right. So I think for people who went through ABA, they're just done having people telling them what to do. Like they're super sensitive.
Completely agree.
Right. It's just like, it's hard because at this age, they still need guidance, right? In order for them to be able to work on self-management and making that independence, they still need our guidance, But so we have a lot of adults who actually don't want to have anything to do with their parents anymore, even though they can't do it. I know, but you're not there, because he's such a great apprentice and he trusts you guys. And I think it's because all the work with the floor time and sunrise that you did.
Yeah. I mean, that did really, really help. Well, it's helped our mindset.
Yeah. The trust. They know that home is a safe environment, but sometimes we are also their punching bags.
Yeah.
I get it.
Literally. Yeah.
I get it. When I went through that with my son also, he's much better now because now he's like, he can communicate.
Yeah.
But we work so hard, like using the drawings, the emotion.
He can communicate, but it still doesn't help him with the regularity, right? And the regulating the emotions.
Yes.
Yeah, he can say, I just lost it. I'm so sorry. I feel horrible. And he can start crying and he can express that, but it's too late.
The trick is for him to stop before it gets to that point.
Right. And so I guess my only question is, okay, so we do this at home and we talk a certain way.
Yes.
And the neurotransmitters are connecting and the pathways are being created.
You slow down so he can integrate information.
So that will eventually,
yeah.
See, because the rest of the world's not going to treat him this way. The rest of the world doesn't talk in I declaratives like this, right? So even when we go to Minnesota and my parents are there, I'll tell them to try to.
No. That's not true. The rest of the world are a lot more experienced share. That's the only reason we want to spend time with another person, because we want to experience share. But when you are with Matteo, the world is treating him differently. The world talks to him differently.
Yes. Right. So what I'm saying is, when we go to Minnesota for 2 weeks and I'm in my parents' house, they're still going to tell him what to do, because that's what we've always done.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk to them about what I'm learning.
Sure. You can share the materials.
And try to have them think about talking in I statements as much as possible. But I guess so. Anyway, we're building the foundation now, but eventually we'll be able to integrate back into society with greater tools to deal with the way it actually works.
Exactly. Okay. So the co-regulation piece, it's important because it leads to self-regulation. When he can self-regulate, he can make the best decision. The mindfulness will come.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I really think that for our situation with this hormonal stuff, catching these things at when he's at a 1 of 10, not a 5, but even at a 1, to get back down to just relaxed is going to be huge for us, because those things you've shared that I've written, those are huge points. If he starts repeating because he's unsure, and we can
Right. So when he's picking up the pace, intuitively you want to go faster, because when he's anxious, that makes you anxious. So how you respond to that is good the opposite.
Yeah.
So you want to slow yourself down so you can slow down the process, and that will affect him.
And that I know, and I tell other people that all the time too. When he gets louder, I get softer. I mean, we have to be the anchor.
Exactly.
So I know that.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been enough, because I think I still am not catching it when it's at a 1. I got to catch it when it's at a 1.
Right.
I can't let it get to a 3.
Well, that's why, when you're preparing together, it's the activity is not important. Keep that in mind. I don't care what activities you do, but it's how you do it, how you prepare yourself first, so that you can prepare him.
Okay.
Right. And whether you have a nice smoothie in the end, or that's not the point, but the process of making those discoveries together, making mistakes together. I want you to make mistakes together.
Oh, we will. We always do. We're not afraid of mistakes.
Yeah.
And okay, so Macy, with this program, how many videos can we send you, and how often?
So I think that if we shoot for seeing each other at least once a month, I think because you're new, we have another session scheduled. So after that, I'm going to Indonesia for a couple weeks. So we will continue the home visit in September. And during the time, you're going to send me videos.
Okay.
Okay.
So we could send you a video of how we're swimming right now. I can send you one of Mark playing with Teo in the
Absolutely.
pool, and we can get feedback on how to.
Exactly. And what I could do also is just record on Zoom. Like, I watch a video and I just talk about it as feedback, and then I'll send you the link. We can do that too. It's not written feedback, it's just audio.
Yeah.
So that works too, I think.
So within the packages, because I want to get money, within the packages, then is it based on like each session, or?
So it's based on my time, basically. Okay. So like for the session that we did at your home, I will only charge you for 3 hours, even though I was there from 12 to 5:30. So I just bill you for 3 hours, and then an hour and a half of driving time. And then for reviewing the videos, I just put like 20 minutes, because I did longer than that, but it didn't work out. So I just bill you for 20 minutes that I have to review your videos, and then the time that we use to do the Zoom meeting. Okay. So everything comes out of the credit, the number of hours that you have. Okay.
And then when you come out and hit all the East Bay people, are we splitting the drive time up?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
so the next one, I'll have 3 families, which is great.
Okay. So then so it'd be a half an hour then.
It will be, it takes me driving time wise, I think at least it's over an hour one way for me to get there. So it would be maybe hopefully 45 minutes or an hour. Okay. Yeah.
And then is driving, so what's your hourly rate?
My hourly rate is 160. But if you do the packages, then it brings the hourly rate down.
Okay.
Right.
And then the hourly rate is the same whether you're driving or teaching.
Yeah.
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 But then if we do more Skype things, then that can be more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I think that that's why we should try to connect with your regional center and see if they pay. My client gets 8 hours a month of my time at my rate that they reimburse the family directly.
Okay. So yeah, I will call I will call them.
Call your case manager.
Because the package for the 2,500 is included how many hours?
19.
19. We're going to eat that up pretty fast.
Yeah. Because you're new. So once things get going, then like my experienced families, they get like one package probably every once a year.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's pretty reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, because of I'm not taking any more families in the East Bay because like I'm full. I can't even go out there. Like it takes a lot. Last time I didn't get home until 9:40 p.m.
Well,
when I went out.
Yeah, but they wanted to do dinner, right? Is that why you did it?
Yeah. But I'm just saying that with it takes like over an hour to get there and to go from one place to another.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not even like charging for everything.
Yeah.
You know, but it is like the home training is a big part of it.
Yeah.
And then once Theo knows me, and it's not. I mean, we could do this format much more.
Yeah. Because this is really helpful. I think to go over videos
together.
See what we could be doing differently.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So I've got to contact regional. That's why I couldn't tell you what package I want because I didn't really understand how it all worked.
Yeah.
But it's not just 2,500 for this year. It's going to be double or triple that.
I think you should ask for funding. I would ask for 10 hours a month, and if we don't use it, we don't use it.
Oh, we can use it.
Yeah.
Because each video we send is gonna be, and then we talk about it. That's gonna be an hour probably, I would think.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I need to watch the videos first in order to be able to. I'm okay not annotating it and just watch the videos first. Then we meet and then we do the video reviews together. I think that's productive.
Yeah.
You know, if I have to annotate it, that takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because I have to stop and take notes. So that's fine. There are different ways. But eventually I will ask you to send me notes along with your videos because I want you to be able to analyze and see, how you're doing with a particular objective. And that speeds up your learning curve.
Yeah.
Because you could see if the objective is happening or not.
Right. Okay.
Right. So,
good.
I mean, that's why I don't want people to depend on me.
Right.
My job is to help you focus on one objective, and same with Theo, to get his buy-in to it. And depending on how you're doing with an objective, sometimes it takes a whole month to practice. Sometimes it's a little faster.
So our objective, for both of us, our first objective is to slow down and use more declarative I statements.
Yeah. So you want to focus on you changing first, recognizing that's a bad habit for me.
Yep.
And when you watch your videos, and I hope that Mark will watch his videos also.
He will.
Well, I have to redo his because I need to redo his since you can't do the video and or he can do Zoom with me. I'll just record Zoom for his video to give him feedback.
Okay. I hope I'm still recording. I see you're recording up
there. Yeah, I think you're recording.
Yeah, but he'll learn a lot from watching this one.
Yes.
With my actions.
Yes.
Because you'll see what.
So the thing about Mark's, maybe we could stop with yours and let's watch Mark's a little bit. Okay? Is that okay?
Sure.
And then if you watch your video again, Annette, you'll be able. Sorry. Hang on. Okay. 1 second. So the note that I had for your video was when you were tasting at the end, I want you to do longer tasting.
Okay.
Like just compare and contrast more. So don't tell him. So you went ahead to, I think it needs more sugar or something like that. You went ahead to, at the end, you made that decision instead of tasting a little bit and just maybe looking at each other and deciding, okay, I think doesn't taste quite right.
Okay.
You know, so go back and watch your video.
Okay.
So here is Mark's. So let's watch Mark's. So fast forward. So I said that he was a good helper at home. I love how you train him to like take off his shoes. He knows, like he's pretty much, he's a creature of habit.
We are no shoe people around here.
Us too. It doesn't make sense to me to wear shoes. That's so gross. Yeah. Okay, so here is the next highlight here. I said about assigning roles, but Mark just went a little too fast.
Spoons and forks.
So, Mark, if you are here, I would say go back and watch your videos and see how many times you jump ahead of Theo. Like he jumped ahead many, many times instead of doing it like a partnership, right? You want it to be more equal partnership. Assigning the roles and just do it one step at a time. So the first step, if you have takeout, would be maybe to put like all the boxes out, right? And the next step would be to get the plates out, right? So how do you think you can get Theo to pull the plates out? Like what would be an open-ended, how can you indirectly influence that, Annette, without saying go get the plate?
Yeah, so you could say something like, well, since I want a little of each of these foods, I better, how am I gonna get some of each of these foods in my mouth?
Yeah, or like, oh, we bought so many things. I can't wait to eat it, and just wait.
Or I don't want to eat out of a box.
Yes, because we don't want to share germs. Right. There you go. Those are, we just blurted out a couple of great examples there.
Okay.
You know. Okay.
Put that in the recycling.
Okay. So here, let me read this. I like how you assign roles by giving him choices on what he would like to do. So Mark, do you want to do this or that? Like choices. If the activity is familiar, let him decide on his own what he should do or what he wants you to do. For example, you choose what you want to do or what kind of help do you want from me? You know, so send the ball back to his court so he can decide what role he wants to do. Right? Does he want to take the plates out or does he want to scoop out? You know, whatever.
So would you say in that case, you know, wow, or some other situation, I think we need plates and to get all this food out on the counter. And just stop. Yeah.
Or okay, we got the boxes out. And you just wait. If you wait, I think he will walk and get the plates out.
Yeah. You're right.
In which case you can say, oh, thanks for doing that. You know, you got the right plates, you know. Yeah. So remember to spotlight the efforts.
Okay.
Right? So the goal is for him to stop and think about what he needs in the moment.
Okay.
And to communicate that. And if you always jump ahead of him, you will miss opportunities for just these little things that he can actually step up.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so the next one, I said to reduce instructions because Mark said put it in a recycle.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's much harder to think and make decisions on his own than following your instructions. So if you rely on instructions, you're making it too easy for him.
Okay.
Okay. When you jump ahead of him to tell him put it in the recycle bin, yeah, he can follow that, but it was too easy, basically. Okay.
So stop giving directives.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think you give less instructions or directives, but I think Mark is still in a static mindset most of the time. So I want him to look at the clips again.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to get the spoons before I need to?
No.
So remember, guys, I think one of his obstacle is that he is compliant.
I'm sorry. Oh, you guys are done? Okay.
Oh, okay.
One of the obstacles was what? Thanks, Sarah.
He's too compliant. I don't want to talk about him in front of him though. Yeah.
He'll want you up on the treadmill, sweetie. I should have asked him. No, I should have.
Right.
So there, I gave a directive.
You could say, "Oh, yay, done! You know, now you're free to do whatever you want to do." Just say that.
Right, but he would come and sit right here next to us.
Ah, he loves his mama.
And yeah. There we go. He'll hop on the treadmill in the back room so we can continue.
Okay. We're almost done because
Okay.
Mark's clip is short.
Okay.
Okay, so I said communication imperative versus declaratives. Slow down so you can find opportunities, use more indirect approach. I can't wait to taste this. This looks great. I think I'm going to get some orange juice to go with lunch. So again, modeling the transition, like using the declarative.
Okay.
Okay, see what he does. Use more I statements to let him borrow your perspective and to invite him to think along the same line, but let him do it his way.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so.
Something to drink? What do you want to drink? Ice? No ice.
Nice. You did it, Tom. Good job.
Okay.
The orange juice is all gone.
We'll make some more.
Farts.
Cool.
So here I want to spotlight. This is the idling part. He didn't have anything to do.
Mm-hmm.
When he doesn't have anything to do, that means he's not using his mind, and he might go into that static mode again.
Right.
Which is what he was doing there, going back to the repeating.
Okay.
So always assign the role, right? Which is why, what sounds good? What kind of drink sounds good? Let's see. Let's open the fridge together and see what are our options. Engage his mind.
Okay.
Okay. When he's engaging his mind, he's not going to need to go back into the looping.
Exactly.
Okay? Exactly. Right. That's very clear. So I said here, when he starts repeating, look at him to acknowledge and use your facial expressions to communicate understanding. And I said that we need to talk about it more during the Zoom meeting, but we talked about it with yours. Okay, so then basically the rest of the clip, I spotlighted missed opportunities, like when he needed straws. So Mark tends to point things out. So whenever I watch clips and it's very quiet like this, Annette, it's not good.
Okay.
Because it means that you're so focused on what's down here in front of you.
Okay.
Okay? So that's just a telltale.
Okay.
All right, so I see everybody's looking down. Okay.
These are little shrimp rolls. You want to try one of those?
Okay. So this is another bad habit. You start with the declaratives or you like a statement, and then you fall back into a question. People do that all the time.
Yeah.
right? So you might say, those look yummy. Do you want one of those?
Yeah.
It's a really bad habit. Yeah. So just catch yourself more.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He's a big boy. He can make his own decisions.
Okay.
You want to try one of those?
Lieutenant.
No? Yes, want to try one? What do you, oh, let me get some, let me open that up for you.
Don't open things for him. Just put it in front of him.
I know. When you start watching, it's like, yeah, we're still reading him.
Yeah. So watch the clips again.
Yeah.
But I think we talk about some important highlights already.
That's awesome. Great. Very cool session.
Okay. So I think that's good. I will see you next week.
We are getting together again
on the 13th. And I think it will be good for me and Teo to do another activity.
Okay.
To model that for you.
Do you want it to be cooking again, or do you want it to be maybe a game?
A game? What kind of game does he like?
He likes Yahtzee. He like Yahtzee, where you roll the dice.
No, I don't know how to. No, I don't know.
Scrabble.
Mm-hmm.
He likes this game. It's very simple. It's called Dr. Eureka, where you have test tubes and you try to put the balls in a specific book. The card says it's fun.
Yeah. We could do a game. I think he's very comfortable in the kitchen, and me too.
Okay.
We could do
have ingredients.
something.
So you'll be here at 10:15ish. So maybe making something for lunch.
Yeah, we could do that. Does he eat a sandwich or something?
He eats sandwiches and salads.
So sandwiches are great because we can work together to make different kinds of sandwiches for different people.
Okay. So we don't buy lunch. We don't eat lunch meat stuff. No. So typically sun butter and honey is usually our sandwich.
Okay.
But maybe we could make sure to have some leftover steak or something like that, so we can have. He can warm it up with some Bragg liquid aminos on the frying surface and then make warm sandwiches.
That we could make lunch from leftovers.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make
that would be good.
Make sure that we have some leftover meat of some sort to make a sandwich.
Yeah. I think that would be great. So I wanted to also have you guys work on your mission preview. We talk about that. I think we could actually sit down with Theo and ask him, and we could videotape that. And you and Mark can work on yours together.
Yeah, Theo, we can work on that. We had to do a big family meeting over the weekend for a scout thing. So
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, to run that. So that was a big thing. But now he's ready for the next family meeting. So we can talk about that at a family meeting.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. And if you could videotape it for me, that would be awesome, because I think it's good. You can ask him, actually, do you want to work on this by yourself, like your short-term goals? Or shall we do it as a family? I think it's good to do that. When you and Mark talk about your goals, think about it as a family goal. So you don't want to make him feel bad.
No.
Like, I wouldn't say, I hope that the anxiety will be better, because then it's putting too much. I know it's important.
We all want it. We all want it, including
yes, but paint a story. Like, we would love as a family to travel in an RV. whatever. Paint a story. You know, getting
and everyone's comfortable and everyone's relaxed and everyone feels good.
yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Hop on, babe.
Okay. Yeah. That'll be fun, and we'll videotape it so we can look at it again.
And this is for the next year. You just wanted this, or 5 years?
I think. How about we work on the first year?
Okay.
You know, and you can ask him if he wants to make one for, say, 3 years. Do 1 year and 3 years, and see from his point of view. It will be very interesting. So in 2 years, he will be 18.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be great. Awesome.
He asked at our family meeting when he gets to start dating.
Oh, he is so handsome, Annette.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
never know.
I would let him go to a movie with somebody.
Why not?
You know.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find people.
Well, you know, you can dream. If he can dream, you can dream alongside him.
Yeah.
And he will get there when he's ready. When he gets there, that's okay. It's good to have dreams.
Yeah. We pointed out that no one in his Boy Scout troop has a girlfriend, so there's no rush into doing this. And that's full of teenage boys.
I work with young adults who are dating, and they're doing fine. Actually, one of them said, well, he's 30-something now, and he said, well, I'm finally dating a neurotypical.
Nice.
Nice, right? Well, okay, it's up to you, but there's nothing wrong dating not a neurotypical.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
funny. Yeah, you never know.
All right. Well,
okay.
I appreciate your help. This is awesome.
All righty.
I'm going to call my case manager for the regional center right now and let her know that I want to talk about this.
Yeah. So you know about our 2 packages.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is just get the 19 hours so it will last longer. And we'll stretch it out with my travels and all that.
That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, I have a ton of travels, unfortunately. This the rest of the year because of the Autism Career Pathways project that so.
That's good.
It's good, but you know, I want to make sure I can keep up with all of you guys. Yeah. You will. You'll send me videos, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Right. Sleep isn't. You don't need much of it.
So. Okay. You take care. Have a good evening.
You
Bye.
Too. Bye. Oh, Aunt Macy, how do I access this?
Oh, okay. So now you just click stop recording. Okay. And then the Zoom will send you an email to tell you that the recording is available. So it does have to go through processing first.
So is it only available for so long before they take it down?
It is. So did you record? No, did you record it on your computer? Where is the recording? The iCloud or computer?
That's what I don't know.
Okay, well, just wait until they send you.
Okay.
They send you. Well, good thing I recorded also because I can send you my link later and you can download it. But if you did record on your computer, then you just,
yeah, I mean, obviously I'd rather save it on a cloud somewhere because.
Well, you know what I do though? What I do is I upload it into YouTube. So it's there. And then I can delete the file.
Right. So just upload it to a private YouTube and keep it.
Yeah, that's fine.
But that would be on our channel.
You don't, but if you upload it privately, nobody could see. You know how when you upload, you can set it up as private or unlisted or public, right? So you just set it up as private.
So then how do you access that?
You can see it. Only you can see it and no one else.
You have to keep that link somewhere.
What do you mean? Are you talking about just this recording?
Well, like all of them that we're going to do.
Oh, so for all of them, you just do it as, you could just do it as unlisted. You just do it as unlisted. That's fine. You can even do it as private and just if you set it up as private, you just have to add my email into it. And then only I can see it. That's fine. So if we're going to watch moving forward, if I don't need to annotate it, and if you like just watching this together, then private is fine.
Okay.
Right? Only the person that you give permission to.
I mean, having the notes there are, I have to say, it's really nice, but I can't imagine. I can imagine how much longer that takes.
Right.
To do.
Well, I can't add notes until I find another annotation website anyways.
Okay.
Because the other one, I don't want to use that anymore, the video and. So until then.
Can I get the notes, though, that you wrote for this one?
For the two that I did? I can't give it to you unless I can't print it out. It's only if you have the link and the link plays for you.
Okay.
Yeah, but pretty much we already talk about it. It's already in this. We talk about.
So have it in writing, you know.
Yeah.
To refer back.
Yeah.
If you don't have time to watch the whole video, you know.
Yeah, maybe what I can do is I can take a picture of it, like
screenshot.
Yeah. Is that okay?
That'd be great.
I'll do that. I'll do that for yours, and I'll do that for Mark.
Perfect. That'd be great.
All right.
All right.
All right. You take care. I'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.